why you should teach your kids what to do if there's a fire in the house. I think my point is definitely have a plan in place, or else your kid might do something like this. So when I was a child, I don't know how old, maybe like 6, I was in this house, chilling in this room, watching TV or playing like the first original PlayStation because I had that and it was amazing. I don't know what I was doing. But suddenly I hear my mom scream at the top of her lungs. When I heard that, I probably looked something like this. So then I ran out into the kitchen. Right there in the middle of the kitchen was the biggest fire I had ever seen in my whole life at that point. The fire was bigger than me. The smoke alarm started going crazy. It was all coming from the stove. My mom was in the kitchen trying to fan the flame, screaming, "Get out, get out, get out!" I was like, okay. So my sister, I didn't know this till later, had seen the fire and run outside. I ran to the front door. But instead of going outside of the door, I ran back into the house. You know how terrifying that must be for a mom? There's a gigantic fire in the kitchen. You tell your kid to get out, suddenly you see them run back across the house? Oh my god. Do you want to know why I did this? What was so important for me to save? Alright, so instead of running outside of the house, I ran back inside to my room. Why did I do this? Because, guys, Simba was still in here. My stuffed animal lion. I was not going to let him burn. I still have him, wait. Oh my god. Here he is. Yes, I ran back in the house for this guy, this noseless lion named Simba. Guys, The Lion King is my favorite movie and it still is. This guy meant so much to me. I risked my life for him. And you know what? I'm glad that I did. This time I tried to run back outside with Simba. My mother had extinguished the flames completely. There was still so much smoke everywhere. And we had forgotten that my sister was just sitting out there alone by herself. A 7 or 8-year-old, I don't remember how old she was. We finally let her back inside the house, but opened all the doors because it was so smoky in there. So yeah. Okay, thank you, God bless. One of the best and most respectful conversations I've ever had about differing religions was when I was 12 with another 12-year-old. And till this day, it is still unmatched. It's what makes me think conversations like that don't have to be taboo. Because if 2 12-year-olds can handle it, then a 50-year-old can. Remember those boys I painted? Yeah, one of them came up to me a couple days later. He was in like 3 of my classes. Came up to me in one of those and just apologized. "Hey, I'm really sorry if we offended you. It was really uncool and we shouldn't have done that." I was shocked. "Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that too. Like, that was uncool." Then we became friends. We hung out in R, we hung out in PE. We liked a lot of the same things. Became one of my best friends that year. And I don't know how we got on this subject, but I think I mentioned church. Maybe I was going to youth group on Friday and maybe I invited him. Well, he told me, shocked me. He said, "I actually don't believe in one God. I believe in multiple gods." I was taken aback. "Oh, well, what do you mean? Can you, tell me more?" He explained that what he believed in was something called Wicca. Me being a devout Christian with pastor parents was very shocking. So we stopped being friends. Just kidding! We talked! He asked me about the specifics of what I believe. I asked him about his. What I thought was really interesting, especially since we were both so young, is that we were both so willing to ask questions. He asked me about what I believed and why. I asked him the same thing. And I think at the end of the day, we both learned a lot. There's still a lot of things I remember. At the end of the day, although we both believe different things, I still learned things from him that I didn't learn from him as a person. How to step forward and apologize first. How to be kind and gentle. Those are things that he actively pursued. We remained friends for the rest of the year. And I have a lot more stories like that with a lot more different kinds of friends. What I'm trying to say, I guess, is be open-minded. Talk to people. You might learn something. Also, people are much more willing to listen to you if you're willing to listen to them. Just bye.
Why you should donate blood? Because other people can't. Other people, I mean me. I have literally been trying to donate blood since I was 17 years old. I'm 22 now, for those who don't know. Every time I go, there's an issue. You're sick. Your iron's low. You traveled outside of the country in the last 30 days. So I wasn't able to donate in high school. When I got out of high school, I kept trying to donate blood. There was 2 instances where things went wrong. The first time I went with my cousin and my sister. My sister went first. They did hers. She was done in under 20 minutes. Then it was my turn. I sat down and I'm not afraid of needles, so it was no big deal. One of those people where it's impossible to find my vein, like literally, yup. Ever since I was a kid, it's literally been the hardest thing. I have a different story time for that, but later. They stuck the needle in me. I was there for over an hour. They didn't even get the bag halfway full of blood. Why? The blood was coming out so slowly. They couldn't find a decent vein in my arm. Honey, I'm sorry, but I don't think this can happen today. Yeah, we're gonna have to let you go. You can still pick up everything. You can still have the treat. Okay. That wasn't even the worst thing that happened. So I thought it was a fluke. I went back like 6 months later. Again, my sister went first. Totally fine. Then it was my turn. I let them know, hey, it's really hard to find my vein. They had trouble last time. It was really slow. Yeah, okay, we can work with that. They put the needle in my arm. Not even 5 minutes had passed. I heard commotion and they were like, take the needle out of her arm. I was busy squeezing that little ball that they tell you to squeeze, and I was focusing on that. But I looked down at my arm. It was a giant balloon sticking out of my arm. Literally, it was this big. It was this big. What is that? Some nurses came over and they said, she's having a hematoma this early. She should not be donating blood. I felt so bad. Honey, I'm sorry. I don't think this is meant for you. Okay. So we waited for my arm to calm down. I literally didn't get any blood at all. And I had to go. They'd let me go. Please donate blood. We are in the middle of a blood shortage in a lot of places. If you can, please do it. Bye.
This is a sad one, guys. This is a story about how my dog died, but my parents told me she ran away. It happened around this time last year when I came back from college. I went to go play with my dogs, and usually they're both really hyper and they all run up to me and they want me to pet them and play with them. And I noticed that my other chihuahua wasn't there, and I thought it was really weird because she's always hyperactive and is always jumping on me and wanting me to play with her. And so I'm looking around the backyard and around the house. I'm like, Chewy, where are you? And I'm like, oh shit, she's not here. So I tell my dad, like, Dad, Chewy's gone, because he's the one who usually takes care of them when I'm at school. And my dad was like super shocked. He's like, wait, are you sure? Like, she should be in the backyard. Like, I just saw her. Like, she has to be there. So he's going to look for them, and I'm over here just stressing out because I just finished school, and I'm just like, where's my dog? I feel like shit that she's missing. So the first thing I tried doing was making all these Facebook posts in like our local lost and pets area and just trying to see if anyone caught her by accident and someone has her. And it all goes downhill from there, guys. So my dad and I decided to go to the animal shelter to see if we can find my dog. And the first brown dog my dad sees, he's like, oh my God, look, it's Chewy. We found her. Look, let's bring her home. And I was like so suspect. I was like, wait. I was like, Dad, that's not her. Like, what are you talking about? That doesn't even look like Chewy. That's not even a Chihuahua. I searched all the kettles that we had. I put her in the book and we left because she wasn't there. At this point, I was kind of losing all the hope because no one responding to any of my posts. And I thought she was gone. So then I started making posters and things like that. And I saw my siblings like talking between each other. And I knew they knew something. So I'm like, yo, tell me what the hell happened. Like, what are you guys hiding from me? And they're like, oh, nothing. Like, we don't know anything. I come to find out she's been missing and just no one told me. So I'm really pissed off at everyone. And I stopped talking to everyone in my house for like the next 3 days, okay? And then my dad got kind of fed up with it. And so one day I was just checking my post to see if anyone found her. And he tells me that she's actually dead. So my dad finally tells me, he's like, I'm so sorry, but she was hit by a car last week and we didn't want to tell you because you were in school and it was your finals and I'm really sorry. And he's crying. Like, I've never seen my dad cry, but my dad's crying. I'm crying. I was an emotional mess. I've never cried like that in my life. Like, I've never experienced death, so this was like the closest thing to it. And then I was in the second stage of grief and I was just pissed off at everyone because everyone in my house knew besides me. I was staying with my brother for school and so I wasn't home all the time and I didn't know. And I was just like, everyone get out of my face. I don't want to see any of you guys. You all betrayed me. I wasn't 10. I wasn't 15. I was 22. Like, you could have told me. Like, I didn't even get to see her when she passed away. And it made me really sad. But that's my doggy, Chewy. R.I.P. Chewy. So this is a story of when I worked at the bank and I was getting robbed. And I didn't understand I was getting robbed. So this customer came to my window and I asked him to slide his debit card. And he's like, oh, I don't have a debit card. And I was like, okay, just give me your ID or your social and I can pull up your account. And then he proceeds to hand me this, paper. And it says, give me $6,000 or I'll go NWA on your ass. So I'm like, what does NWA mean? Because I don't know what the hell. I don't know. So then he looks at me. He's like, you really don't know what it means? And then so he tells me and I'm just like, oh. And I was like, I'm sorry, sir, but if you don't have an account, I won't be able to give you any money. But I do have a banker available if you want to open up an account. And he's like, no, I don't want to open an account. I just want $6,000. It was a really long day for me. And I was just like, sir, I'm sorry, but go ahead and slide your card and I'd be able to help you out. And then he's like, listen, take it out of Snoop Dogg's account, take it out of Kanye West's account, take it out of 50 Cent's account, take it out of somebody's account. And I still didn't understand what was going on. So at this point, I just decided to go get my manager because I'm frustrated. He's frustrated. The customers are frustrated and I don't know what to do. And so I go get her and she comes back and they're bickering back and forth. And he says this. If y'all don't get my $6,000, I'm going to go home, get my shotgun, and come back and shoot both of you. So then that's when it clicked in my head. This fool is crazy. I start pushing every single panic button under my desk, on the phone, on my keychain. And so we go hide in the vault. This guy continues just to stand outside and wait in line for like 10 minutes before the SWAT team comes. 30 people fully armed, tackle this guy, and take him out of our building. Don't do drugs, kids. So this is the story of when we got pulled over and I cursed out our officer, part 1. Just a disclaimer, I don't condemn any of the things I did. I was 5, okay, so no one come at me for that. So I was at the age where I learned how to get myself out of the seatbelt of my booster seat. And my dad was taking me to the dentist and he was warning me that we're going to get pulled over. And I wasn't listening. And so we eventually did get pulled over. And the officer comes over and she's like, sir, do you know why I pulled you over today? And my dad's like, yeah, I know. She's learned how to take herself out of the car seat. I'm really sorry about that, but can you go yell at her for me? Like, please just go yell at her and tell her not to do it again. So I was like, what the hell, man? And the officer's like, okay, no problem. I'll go yell at her for you. Like, just open the door. Like, I'll talk to her. Don't worry. She was just being really nice and telling me, like, you know, I want you to put your seatbelts on because there's crazy people out here and I don't want you to get hurt. You know, what happens if you get in an accident? And I was just being a brat, capital B, just rolling my eyes and being rude. And I was like, shut up, you idiot. And my dad was just like, oh my God. And the cop just kind of laughed it off, but you could tell, like, she felt, like, pissed. And then she was like, oh, this brat just called me an idiot. And so my dad, like, gave me that death stare, and he's like, put your seatbelt on right now. I swear I'm going to leave you here. So being mad, I just put my seatbelt on. I was like, fine, I'll just put it on. I was like a brat. I was like, you're not my mom. You can't tell me what to do. So she finally left, and my dad's like, I'm so sorry that she did that. You know, thank you so much. And she was really nice. She didn't give us a ticket. I just feel really bad for being an asshole. And me being me, as soon as she left, I took that shit right back off, and I just continued running around the car without any